All right, let's talk about something that's super fundamental, but honestly gets overlooked way too often when you're building a high-quality AI system. We're talking about the very first step, the front door your data walks through. Getting this right is often the difference between an AI that feels like magic and one that's just, well, a huge frustration.
You've heard this a million times, right? Garbage in, garbage out. It's a classic for a reason. And you know what? In the world of AI, especially with RAG systems, it's more true than it has ever been. The answers your AI gives you can never be better than the information you feed it. It's really that simple.
So let's get real for a second and ask the question that I know keeps a lot of builders up at night. You've done everything right, you set up your vector database, you picked a great model, you fed it all your documents, but then you ask it a simple question and the answer is just off. It's irrelevant or incomplete or just flat out wrong. What happened? Well, chances are the problem isn't your model, it's the input.
And that, right there, brings us to the hero of our story today, document loading. I want you to think of this as your first, and maybe your most important, line of defense against that whole garbage in problem. This is the gatekeeper that makes sure only the good stuff gets into your system.
Okay, so what is document loading really? Put simply, it's the process that takes all your different kinds of files, your PDFs, web pages, Word docs, and basically pre-digests them. It turns all that messy formatted stuff into clean, simple text that your AI can actually make sense of, along with some helpful labels we call metadata.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine a chef in a high-end kitchen. They don't just grab ingredients and toss them in a pan, right? No way. They do their mise en place. They wash everything, they peel, they chop, they get it all perfectly prepped and organized. That is exactly what document loading is for your data. It's getting all your information perfectly prepped for the main event.
Okay, so we get the what, but how does it actually work? Like, what's really happening under the hood when a document loader does its thing? Let's break down its core mission.
It really boils down to three key jobs. First, it has to parse the format. Your AI has no idea what a PDF table is or how to read HTML. The loader acts like a translator, breaking those down into plain text. Second, it removes boilerplate, and this one is huge. Think about any website. You've got navigation menus, ads, footers, cookie pop-ups. All of that is just noise. A good loader strips away all that junk, leaving only the actual content. And finally, it keeps structure and source. It takes note of things like headlines or lists, and crucially, where the info came from. That context, it's absolute gold for your AI.
All right, that's the how. But what's this so what? Why do we go through all this trouble? Let's talk about the real, tangible payoff you get for your RAG application when you do this right. And this visual just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got pure chaos. That's what your system sees without a good loader, a jumble of code, ads, and links that have nothing to do with the actual information. But on the right, look at that. It's pure signal. It's just the good stuff, clean, readable, and ready to go. Which one do you think is going to give you a better answer?
And that's the bottom line, right here. It all comes down to this super simple equation. When you feed your system clean data, you create cleaner, more focused chunks of information for it to search through. And when you have better chunks, you get better retrieval. And better retrieval? That's the whole game in RAG.
So as we start to wrap this up, I really want you to shift how you think about this. Document loading isn't just some boring technical chore you have to check off a list. It's a strategic investment in the quality and the reliability of your entire AI application.
Here's the big takeaway, plain and simple. You've got to invest time and focus in your document loading pipeline. That upfront work, whether you're picking a loader or building your own, will pay you back tenfold in the quality of your AI's answers. It's a guaranteed return on investment.
And I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. We've talked about the upside of doing this right, but what's the hidden cost of getting it wrong? Think about all the hours wasted debugging bad answers, the frustrated users who just give up, the trust you lose in a system that feels unreliable. That's the real cost, and it's a cost you just don't have to pay if you start with a clean foundation.